So that leadership is important, because the threat is not immigrants. The threat is isolation. This nation cannot isolate itself. We need this nation's presence, a strong presence and leadership throughout the world. We need to build together and change and reform the United Nations so that they would assume their responsibilities. About our relation, Mexico and United States. It's excellent on one side. Many think that it couldn't be better. We're facing the challenges and the problems, but still we can do much better. It's very complex, with the border dynamics, over 1 million people crossing there every day. Thousands, tens of thousands of containers crossed that river and that border every day. Our trading is close to $400 billion between Mexico and United States. And many people don't know that Mexico buys from United States more products and services than what Italy, France, Germany, and Britain do together. We're a real partner, a worthy partner to this nation on this association. Those imports to Mexico means millions of jobs here in the United States for U.S. nationals. So that's why we have to have a new vision in NAFTA to further integrate. But the problems are more. Millions of migrants that we have to solve that problem. And migration is a problem in Spain, in Europe, in Africa, in Asia, in Central America. And somebody that has the vision and the leadership should come out with a framework, with a solution to this issue of migration, to make sure that it's a win-win situation, that is an asset to all nations. The program of security, drug, crime, organized crime, there we have very strong agreements between U.S. authorities and Mexican authorities. And Presidente Calderón is giving the mother of all battles against crime. He brought in the army, and he's, with all the power of the state and all his will, making sure that we win this battle as soon as possible. Because our youth is being affected, as the youth of this nation was and is being affected through the consumption of drugs. And fortunately, there we have agreements, and there we're working together as a shared responsibility. Same as we should do with immigration. It's a shared responsibility. It's not just one side that has to do with the issue. Because those that are here do have a job. Somebody's paying to them, either they're documented or not documented. And those who don't have a job or don't have an occupation, let's send them back. We accept that in Mexico. But we must sit down, use common sense, use talent, and come with a solution. And the proposal is right there in Congress. Kennedy McCain's bill is very complete. And but we're all expecting a decision on it. And the more this vacuum, these empty spaces subsist, the more the xenophobics get in and try to conduct the debate. Or as I said, the more the ludabs and their rallies try to guide the public opinion, totally misinforming public opinion. And fear. Since September 11, I perceive fear in this nation, and of course it's totally justified. That was a tragic date that should never repeat, nowhere in the world, in no place in the United States. so we have to keep on working to solve the problems that we have together. If I would have to say what would be the priorities in the case of our relationship, well, the number one, to have a high degree of recognition, to understand this partnership, this neighborhood, and this friendship, to treat ourselves with full respect, and then make sure that immigration reform is solved, that we accelerate the dynamics of the counter-actions being carried on against insecurity, drugs, and organized crime, the approval of the funds that the administration of President Bush proposed and committed with Mexico that have to be approved in Congress, the sooner the better. That new NAFTA vision that we should have, maybe starting with a customs union as the next step, maybe defining the process, the long-term process, 20, 30, 50 years ahead. I guess most of you know about Goldman Sachs' projection for year 2040, which shows that China is going to be the #1 economy in the world in size by year 2040. United States will be the second largest economy. Japan, that is the second today, will go to the 4th place because India is coming on the 3rd place. And the fifth is Mexico. By year 2040, Mexico will be the 5th largest economy in the world. That should invite us to work with motivation to keep building this future together among our nations. We must activate the program so-called Partnership for Prosperity, which also is a step forward in NAFTA. It's an agreement that we signed, Canada, Mexico, and United States, and we have to revitalize it and impulse it, because I think it's a great, great program. And we should extend these concepts to Central America, because when we're working to reduce migration and to have order in the border and the flows in the border, in year 2006, 250,000 Central Americans came to Mexico illegally. We withheld them and sent them back. But certainly many others would cross and they got to the border and maybe they got here to the States. So it's not just working with Mexico, we have to work with Central America in programs like Puebla, Panama that we launched with the purpose of bringing investment, bringing jobs to Central America and keep the people there as well as we're trying to do in the case of Mexico. And this is the great effort Presidente Felipe Calderón is doing, is building the opportunities right there in Mexico. And keeping our people there. Of course, we don't like to see them coming up here. We need them in Mexico. We need that talent, that energy, that capacity, that productivity, that quality that they have. Unfortunately, partially we have not been able to have a proposal, an offer of job or income for all of them. But let me tell you something that is unknown here. Everybody thinks that all those migrants come because they don't have a job in Mexico or that they are dying of hunger. That's not true. Most of them, the large majority, are people that have a job in Mexico. But a job where they gain $1 when a worker here is getting $6. So what they are is looking for, improving their situation. And that's why most of them don't want to become U.S. nationals. They would like to go back home with their dears and their families, their sons, their grandsons. Their aspiration is to work, make some money, and go back. They're building their homes back there. They're sending money to put a small changarro so that they can build up a source of income down there in Mexico for when they come back.